Hey, it's the Midnight Raven. Today we're doing Vlogmas Day 23. I know today is New Year's Eve and I hadn't finished filming, so you're going to have two videos today for New Year's Eve. One of them is talking about decluttering and one is talking about new goals for 2025. So this video is about decluttering. So I was scrolling through on Facebook and I just happened to come across a post about decluttering, and that's where we are right now. Decluttering. Normally I do a minimalist challenge each year, but this year I'm not doing it because I have already donated a lot to charity. I took a lot to car boot and I do sell on Vinted, so I do need to keep some of my stuff that I collect. But apparently you can declutter your living room, your bedroom, your bathroom, and your kitchen of stuff you don't need anymore. The question is, how do you decide whether you don't need something? Is it whether you've used it in the last month, whether you've used it in the last year, or do you go by have you used it in the last week? So, we're going to look at different things that you could maybe declutter and give yourself a bit more of a decluttered household or a bit of an easier life. So, there's a list here of different things. So, we're going to look at the living room first. So in the living room, it says that you can declutter things like old magazines you don't read anymore that have like been, sitting under the coffee table, 6 months of the year. Get rid of old newspapers. Now, if you do get rid of old newspapers, do consider donating them to the animal shelters and stuff, because they like to line the shelters with them. So things like old newspapers are actually useful in the animal shelters. Worn out throws and pillows and cushions. I don't think you can take them to the shelters, but they do take old blankets. They do take towels. So if you have any of them going, seasonal decor items. So maybe you've realized that maybe you have too many Christmas items, or maybe you want to get rid of some of last year's ones. So maybe donate your old Christmas items to charity shops. Like I said, any blankets that you want to donate or any towels. It says things like coasters, like stuff you don't really need. Well, I mean, you do need coasters, but maybe you don't need the 3 packs that sit in your kitchen drawer. Or maybe you don't use your dining table very often, so maybe you could get rid of your placemats. Or maybe you seem to have a collection of just useless um decor that you don't use anymore. Maybe there's vases you don't use anymore, or maybe there's electronics you don't use anymore in your household. Maybe you haven't used your radio in a while, or maybe you haven't used your CD player or compact disc player or cassette player. Now we're going back. Um, then it says to get rid of things like kids' toys and other items. So obviously, with Christmas, a lot of people get toys, and it is a good show of faith if you could get your kids to go through their toys and then donate them to maybe Women's Refuge for the kids there, or maybe you can donate them to your local shoebox charity event that goes on sometimes throughout the years. Next, it says to get rid of things like VHS tapes, CDs, DVDs, entertainment you maybe don't use anymore because you now mostly watch streaming services like Netflix and that. It also said about old books. Maybe you've read your books for this year. You could donate them to an old people's home. You could donate them to charity. Next, it says your old pet toys. So this is looking at anything that your pets don't play with anymore. You can't usually donate them to shelters because they've been used. But maybe get your dog a new set of toys and get rid of the old smelly ones, because I know some animals like to keep certain toys, but sometimes they just need, you know. Next would be to clean out your burnt candles. So candles that you have like half burnt, maybe didn't like the fragrance, you're not intending to use again, but you've kept anyway. And just get rid of the candles that have like burnt down and you don't plan to use them again. And then random knickknacks that collect dust. So this is talking about ornaments or bric-a-brac or stuff that you have in your living room. I'm currently in my bedroom, but same principle, that you maybe haven't even looked at in the last year. You haven't touched, you haven't picked up, and you haven't used. And obviously in your front room, it's a communal area, so everybody's going to be using the front room. So maybe get other people to help you decide what to throw away if you obviously have a family situation. Next, we're looking at your bedroom. Now, your bedroom can have a lot of stuff in. In fact, I think a bedroom can actually hold more than the living room, because the living room technically has a specific use. Your bedroom usually ends up being either a bedroom, or if you're like me, I had 2-bedroom house, or flat or bungalow, and the extra room was always like either a dumping ground or an extra bedroom, or eventually when my son moves out, it will turn into like an office. So maybe get rid of for the bedroom, it says to get rid of old chargers and electronics you don't use anymore, to get rid of things like dead batteries, random clutter. Get rid of some of those cushions that are on your bed. I mean, I get it, women like cushions, but how many do you really need? I mean, I have 3 cushions on my bed. I have my 2 pillows, and then I have a cushion, and then I have a decorative cushion. It then says to go through your sheets and your blankets. Maybe you need an overhaul when it comes to your duvets and your sheets. You can donate them to charity shops. And then it says to go through things like your bras and your underwear. Maybe they need to have some new ones. Maybe your bras are like straps are just not cutting it anymore. Then it says to go through your t-shirts, your pajamas, and all your clothes. Looking at stuff maybe you haven't worn a year and donate it to a charity shop. It also says about looking at things like bathing suits, what with the summer coming up. Looking through coats, getting rid of any winter coats you don't necessarily need or you didn't necessarily want. Hats, gloves, scarves, just anything in your bedroom, clothes-wise, that you no longer need a use for or feel that you need to keep, because I guarantee you in your wardrobe there is stuff you haven't worn all year or possibly worn in 5 years. Also, to go through your shoes. Shoes do take more of a brunt and they do get more wear and tear, I think, than clothes, because you are constantly wearing shoes and the walking and the weather and everything. So go through your shoes. Any of the ones that you think you can savor, keep. Any ones you're not so sure about or you haven't worn in a while, or they pinch their toes, or there's that pair you want to wear but think you won't, take them to a charity shop or a women's refuge. They're always crying out for donations. Next, get rid of anything that is stained, damaged, or holey when it comes to your clothes. You know there's a t-shirt or a jumper or a dress there that either has a stain, a mark, or a hole, and you want to keep it. Maybe just let it go. Next would be to sort out your purses, your handbag, and your accessories. So I'm talking jewelry, go through your makeup, get rid of any expired makeup, get rid of any jewelry you don't wear or haven't worn. Things like Women's Refuge take things like bath stuff. They don't take makeup unless it's not opened. And then things like luggages, your bags, your purses, maybe go through, see if there's any you can donate. Again, local charity shops, or have a yard sale and sell anything you don't need. Take your stuff to car boots as well. Next, get rid of any prescriptions. So this is old prescriptions that you have in your bedroom drawer. Most people will keep their medicines and that in the drawer. You can take unused medicines to pharmacies or doctor's surgeries where you can drop them off. And then we go on to the bathroom. So the bathroom again is a communal space and most people have their own stuff. I share my house with my youngest and we both have our own shampoo. We both have our own body wash. We have our own sets of towels. We have our own stuff. So maybe ask your son, your daughter, or your partner to go through their body stuff, their makeup, hairbrushes, and get rid of anything that's old. Go through your toothbrushes, toothpaste, anything that's in your bathroom that has an expiry date, or maybe you haven't used in a while, or has just, not isn't the fragrance you want to use anymore. Get rid of any old aftershaves or any deodorants that you don't use, or anything that you think might have gone out of date when it comes to makeup, because makeup does have expiry dates and you can get some nasty rashes by using makeup that is expired. Going through things, if you have kids, go through the bath toys, go through the soap dispensers, check whether the dispensers need refilling or whether they're too old. And then when it comes to kids in the bathroom, go through their toys. Maybe some of them have got a bit moldy, a bit smelly. And then obviously things, if you're a man and a woman, things like razors, shaving stuff, probably need new blades, and shower any stuff that you don't need to use anymore, like shower creams and all that, for shaving, shower gels, anything that you use that probably has an expiry date. It is good once a year just to throw everything out when it comes to the bathroom. And last of all, we're going to the kitchen, the place where you kind of forget things. Although you're in the kitchen, generally you're not in the kitchen long. So a kitchen is like the same as a bathroom. You kind of dip in and out. But in the kitchen, you need to go through things like your Tupperware, go through your takeout cutlery. Maybe you have chopsticks from the takeaways. Go through all your pantry items. See if you have any expired cans, expired spices. Check your teas, your coffees, your sugars. Make sure you go through all of your cupboards for food. Then go to your fridge, clean out your fridge, clean out your freezer, maybe defrost the fridge and defrost the freezer, sorry. Maybe go through your old shopping bags, if you have like cooler bags and stuff like that. And then you can go through your pots, your pans, check if you need to buy new ones. Go through your utensils, because obviously forks, knives and that do tarnish after a while with repeated washing and all the greasy stuff we eat nowadays. Also go through anything like your plastic bottles that you have, like your drink bottles. Make sure they're not leaking, make sure they're not moldy, make sure they're not damaged. And then go through things like your chemicals under the sink, make sure they're in date. Check all your pet stuff. You obviously have pet stuff in the kitchen, their food, their treats. Maybe go through their flea treatments and stuff like that. Their cat litters, make sure everything is in date and usable. Like I said, go through all of your gadgets that you have in the kitchen. Check whether you need, you know, all your peelers that do like magic stuff. Check all your electrical stuff in there. Is there stuff you can and cannot live without? Maybe downsize a bit, because I know kitchens can get a bit overwhelming because there are just so many excess things that you could have, like your avocado holder or your fancy cutouts for your cookies, and then go through all your baking stuff. If you're a baker, you will know that you have like a shape, a tin for everything. Just way too much stuff. But that in a nutshell is the kind of things to get rid of. There is a whole list here. I will share it in my Discord, and it shows you stuff to declutter. And it says to declutter your living room, bedroom, bathroom, and kitchen for 2025. Recycle where possible. So, like I said, there are things that you could take to the charity shop, the women's refuge, donate to care homes. If you have things like puzzles, games that you don't use anymore, maybe they can go to the old people's homes. They also take magazines. If you have, like I said, bath products, makeup, that are like unopened. You can take them to the women's refuge. You can take toys to the women's refuge, clothes. You can donate towels and blankets to things like animal shelters. There are ways of like downsizing your house, but also helping other people, so it doesn't have to necessarily go to landfill just because you're like decluttering a little. Because you haven't used that item in so long in the back of your wardrobe, a woman in a woman's refuge can wear it. If there's a toy your son hasn't played with in 6 months and it's clean and it's in good nick and it is just sitting in his toy box, I'm sure he wouldn't mind another underprivileged kid that's having a very rough year playing with it. Or a dog where they can line their kennels with the newspapers that you've left sitting under your coffee table for 6 months. So there is always a way that you can help people. It's just thinking a bit of out of the box. And if you don't know, ask. There are community pages and community groups where if you say, hey, I've got a few towels or I've got a few toys, is there anywhere gathering them? Is there anywhere I can donate them? 90% or 95% of the time, you will find someone that will say, yes, the local shelter. This place has some, this place needs it. The charity shop needs a donation. There's a help that you can give to most people with stuff that you're getting rid of. You just need to like reach out and see what you can find. But this was how to declutter for 2025. I do have a second video coming to celebrate the new year. It is New Year's Eve and I am totally behind on my videos. I am so sorry. I had a rough end to 2024. And hopefully better 2025. So if you want to like and subscribe and give us a big thumbs up, support the channel with a PayPal, Super Chat or Super Thanks. I love you all and I will see you hopefully in 2025. Bye guys.